Greetings. We live. Another day, but it ain't no more dollars. Elder Blacklight in the lakes, in the city, of Detroit. I posted one yesterday, went live yesterday, and only got 3 views. Very seldom do I get a 1,000 views. Or the most I got was 1,000 on one particular video. Depends on how I entitle my video. And I'm in Farad Metro, aka Detroit City, 77%, where there's 77% black, and we got a French name. I want to give it a black name because the black man has been the spirit of Detroit for many, many decades. And we're entitling this one the Doomsday Chronicles. Countdown to Doomsday. It's not going to come the way you think. No, we're not going to blow each other up. But it's going to be like Donald Elijah Muhammad said, a lake of fire. But no one knows exactly when. Allah is the best knower. He's giving the black man a chance to get out from the grip of the devil, the Caucasian. He's spellbound under mass hypnosis. And every day Allah shows that he's in control. It's a gradual thing, but it's gradual, but it's happening more frequent. They're having floods in Florida, raining. They say they haven't seen the likes of it for 100 years or more, maybe 300 or 400 years. Tornadoes dancing down the street like the Temptation. Fires, wars. United States is in 9 wars as we speak. directly and indirectly, using its proxies. And inside the United States, we had a man that wanted to start a race war around the time of the election. And you got black people that were once oppressed for 400 years by a cruel slave master who made them lose their identity and take on the identity of the devil, his names, his attitude. And you got brothers that's helping the devil, they are devil advocates, keeping his own people down because he's so much in love with George Washington or Benjamin Franklin. And yesterday's video showed you, I've been telling you this for a long time, that the Rothschilds own the planet. They want you to think they own the planet. They do this by trickery, they're con artists or grifters. And they did that by printing up Federal Reserve notes, confiscating all the gold and silver. So I tried to show you yesterday that, excuse me for a minute. I tried to show you yesterday that the original Asiatic black man, which is every black man on the planet, subdivision is brown, red, and yellow. You say, what about the white man? He's an independent race. No kin to people of color, of melanin. So he was a savage, dwelling in the caves of Europe in the Caucasus Mountains. And Musa, was sent to reform him. Gave him the 10 Commandments. Well, he gave him more than 10. And they was worshiping the golden calf. They wouldn't follow the instructions of Moses. They were made from the black man by a master scientist named Yakub. Who had a determined idea to make a man from the devil by grafting. And when you make something from the original, it loses the qualities and the effects of the original. It becomes weak. And so Yakub, or Jacob, who later became Israel, that word Israel means against God. In other words, against the black man. Because the black man is the prototype from the original. So in this day and time, you got artificial intelligence versus original intelligence. So the artificial intelligence has mastered mass hypnosis, or is that a word? Mass hypnotizing the black man all over the planet. And he's using television, radio, music, the internet, YouTube, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, the Bible, the Quran. There's somewhere in the Bible and in the Quran where it say the devil will come at you on the straight path. So he'll be in the church, in the mosque. He took over all organizations. And he make you think wrong is right and right is wrong. And 85% of black people are deaf, dumb, and blind due to this social hypnosis. Social engineering. So he got scientists in every field that you could think of. Scientists into warfare, scientists into economics, all designed to keep you down. So the Rothschilds made a statement and said that I care not who is a king, president, anybody. When he borrows money from me, I will rule him with interests or with artillery, weapons of mass destruction. He's working on artificial robots that can kill with a push of a button. But it's artificial. It takes a man to push that button. And the supreme being, Allah and the personal master Farah Muhammad, he can control every brain cell, every molecule. And he can get up in that man's brain and drive him insane. I believe that's what's happening to Biden. So Allah is using Biden and Trump to show you that all the courts system, the world court, federal court, UN, is rigged. This election the closer it gets to the election, strange things is going to happen. Now, I'm talking to Detroit because Detroit is sacred ground. And things you do here in Detroit can influence the rest of your brothers and sisters. So I don't know if they're messing with my station, my channel, or what, but if and when you look at this video, record it and share it and keep it in your files for later viewing. Because I'm talking just about different from everybody else. Don't nobody mention to you about economics, about how the Rothschilds and the Federal Reserve is a criminal operation that confiscated all the gold and silver that only Congress was supposed to coin and handle. And 1914, the Federal Reserve Act was passed by a corrupt Congress that broke the Constitution in half. But the United States and the Constitution was founded in corruption because they had slaves and they said they were Christians. And do unto others as you want others to do unto you. That's out the window. They slaughtered the black man, enslaved him, tortured him, raped him, lynched him, burnt him, annihilated the Indians, all while America was being formed. Now, they don't teach this in the schools nowadays too much. They make it seem like uh, when we were slaves, black men were slaves, it was like a picnic in the park. But there's no slaves recorded in the history books that had their names, their culture, uh, their identity took from them. They took our identity from us. Started calling us niggers and Negroes. They weren't calling us Africans, even though African is improper because it's a Greek name named after a Greek man. Egypt is a Greek name. It's not an African tongue because Greek named it. Alexander the Great, aka Nimrod in the Bible, conquered so-called Egypt, took all the books, compiled them in a library called the Library of Alexandria. And they said that the Romans set it on fire and all that knowledge was lost. Maybe some of it was lost, but I believe they saved a lot of books and put it in the Vatican. And they learned the mind of the ancient black man. And reverse psychology is being perpetrated on us right now. And we can't get over the effects of slavery because if a man won't treat you right, he won't teach you right. And I don't care if I only got one view, two views. You come and you go because you don't want to, most of y'all don't want to hear this. But understand this. Is the Federal Reserve a part of the federal government? It's a private organization. And at the head is the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds are the one that's pushing for the state of Israel. If they want to end the war in Gaza, they can do it in a heartbeat. But they stalling, trying to find out who will be president. They don't want the Southerners, the Texicanians, to have influence in the White House. Because they don't like Jews, even though they don't know they Jews themselves. That's right. The Jew is mentioned in the Bible with Jesus, and in the Gospel of Jesus, he's telling you that the Jews tried to kill him, and he mentions the word Jew, and he also says that you are of your father the devil. He's a liar and a murderer from the beginning. Now this is what Jesus said, y'all. So maybe that's why they tried to nail him to the cross. You see, I said tried to nail him to the cross. They never did find the body. So they're going to try to get you to think that you could come back from a physical dead, from physically being dead. You know, after 3 days, he physically rose from being crucified, walked among his friends for a minute, ate some food, and then rose up to heaven in the sky and will come back. That Jesus there is not coming back. Jesus of 2,000 years ago. So in Revelation, it tells you that the Jesus, when he comes back, he ain't coming to play. He's going to put plagues on him. He's going to destroy the wicked, put them in a lake of fire. He's talking about those devils and those that follow the devil. So the devil using all kind of trickeries on you to get you to go to hell, to go to that lake of fire with him. So Master Farah Muhammad came and told you, he said, I'm a black man. My father's a black man. But I disguised myself, or my father disguised me as looking like a white man. But I'm really a high yellow black man. And I'm telling you that you are the original Asiatic black man. Cream of the planet Earth and God of the universe. And yesterday in my video, I told you the ancestors are in your DNA with you all the time, all the way back to infinity. You know, your ancestors goes back into infinity. There is no beginning and there's no end. My mother, bless her soul, peace and blessings, ate dinner with the messenger. While they were eating dinner, the messenger would talk to him, table talk. And he took a glass it's a circle. And he told my mama, the black man is a circle. There's no beginning and there's no end in a circle. You know. And so she met with the messenger and know Supreme Minister John Muhammad, his baby brother. We stayed on a street called Field, and Supreme Minister stayed on Townsend, I believe up by Vernon Avenue, around there. And that's only about 2 or 3 blocks, maybe about 3 or 4 blocks from where Townsend is 2 streets uh, going east from my house. I stayed right across the street from Belle Isle. And Vernon Highway is going north, from my house. And my mama she also knew Malcolm X, the whole family. So I was trying to find out, they said it's the 7th day. The 7th day is Judgment Day, where it's the War of Armageddon, good versus evil. Come to find out, Detroit got 7 letters in it. The area code adds up to 313, adds up to 7. Detroit was founded in July, the 7th month. So I wanted to know what did Detroit meant, the word Detroit, what it means in English. And it means straight. And then I thought about the prayer, "Oh Allah, guide us on the straight path." Then Master Farad came to Detroit in July the 4th, the white man's Independent Day and the black man's Independent Day. On the coming of Master Farad Muhammad, of Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. So the east side of Detroit and the whole Detroit is sacred ground. It's like the new Mecca. The light shines from the west to the east now, not from the east to the west. So you can pray in any direction. So with the coming of Master Farad Muhammad came supreme wisdom and the Nation of Islam. He came over here from Mecca, somewhere over that way. I forgot the name of the city or the town, to Detroit or to United States. He came to the United States in 1910. Stayed for 20 years in and out of the country. hanging with white people, going to school, going to universities, then made itself known to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that he was Allah. Here in Detroit. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was living in Hamtramck. Gangsters was running Hamtramck. Gangsters was running Rose Point. They had the Purple Gang. They were one of the most feared gangs in the whole United States. It was a consortment of Jews, Italians. Some people say black, some brothers was in it too. Al Capone used to use them, the Purple Gang, to do his hit. Henry Ford started the auto production here. And a white guy told me that he started the auto, his first plant was in Highland Park. I think it was Manchester Street in Woodward. And he told me that Henry Ford wanted to give black people training, technical training into building cars. So he set up a school. So I'm telling y'all stuff that y'all ain't gonna hear from nobody else but me. And a white cat told me this. An old white dude. At the time I was on the radio, a young brother named R.J. Watkins, who used to work at WGPR, when Mr. Banks, who started WGPR, when he died, he had WGPR, I think it was channel 62 for the television, and 10.7 FM for the radio. So it was a radio, a national radio and television, first black national television station it was. So RJ was a protege of Mr. Banks, and when they disbanded, when the CBS bought Channel 62 from the black man called Mr. Banks, R.J. Watkins, bought a small radio station, but it wasn't just a radio station. This building that he bought in Highland Park was not only a radio station, he made it a television station. And he had a concert hall. Also all located in the building on Woodward. And the frequency, the broadcasting broadband only went maybe about 2 or 3 miles outside of Highland Park. And Highland Park is in the heart of Detroit on, on Woodward, east and west. It runs east and west, north and south on Woodward. Woodward is the main avenue in Detroit. And I was on that station when this white guy told me about Henry Ford wanted to give black people technical training on building cars. But the Jews in Detroit was opposed to that. And they gave Henry Ford a hard time getting started up. So Henry Ford wrote a book called The International Jew. And he gave attention to a book called the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. I think I'm saying it right. And they've been clashing ever since. But they made Henry Ford eat his words. So now Jesus said they wasn't cool, said the Jews wasn't cool. And they had the Romans try to assassinate or crucify Jesus. The Romans and the Jews. So what do that tell you? The Rothschild is Jewish. See, so they don't want you. They're not going. What I'm telling you, some of y'all may research what I'm telling you, find out what I'm telling you is true. But ask yourself this: is the Federal Reserve a part of the federal government? You don't see they're not part of the federal government. The Congress borrow money from the Federal Reserve. That's how you went to 30, 40 trillion dollars worth of debt. They're not telling you the real number. You know, they can't tell the truth. They're incapable of telling the truth. They're incapable of trying to preserve life. Their mission is to seek and destroy. Because that word Israel means against God. So Detroit is a deep city, man. It's surrounded by 5 Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes are fresh water, the most purest and fresh water on the planet, the biggest body of water. So Nestle's home office, I think it's in Switzerland. And they came over to here in Detroit. And when they had the water crisis, how it went was like this. Flint, Michigan has homes that's kind of like sitting on a water bank, you know, with wells. They got wells, freshwater wells. My uncle, when I was a little boy, we used to go and get mineral water, you know, and so Nestle's bought up. Now they said Nestle's didn't buy up nothing. They just went and took over those lands with the wells on them on a promise. So you got Nestle's water, right? So it's a water war, but they're keeping it hush hush on the down low. They still haven't straightened out that water situation. Now this brother known as Moses invented a water machine. He took that water machine to uh, Flint when they had the crisis, deep in the crisis, and someone sabotaged it. And you're not hearing too much from that brother anymore. It's a lot. I'm just glossing over all this. You know, it's a lot to what's going on. And the thing is, though, y'all not paying attention. Y'all off into sports, them video games, and it's a whole lot of different kind of weapon that the enemy is using towards the black man. The economic weapon is orchestrated by the Federal Reserve. So now if they print up the money, Federal Reserve print the money up, you'll see a Federal Reserve note. Now they got dollars that says U.S. Treasury note. That's the one. Those dollars come from the U.S. Treasury, but the U.S. Treasury don't print up those dollars no more. The Federal Reserve note overtook the U.S. Treasury note. Simple mathematics, man. Simple arithmetic. If you add it up, you'll see that all dollars is created by the Federal Reserve. and they give a blank check to the Congress. Now they created income tax to collect all the money that you work for. Because if they print up the dollar, Federal Reserve note, and you in debt, trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, the Congress ain't gonna pay that money back. They the ones that borrow the money, but they not paying it back. You the one that's paying it back. How can you get out of $1 trillion, a $34 trillion debt, or could be $3,400 debt? I mean, $3,400 trillion debt. How can you get out of that? At the welfare, they used to call it family. What they used to call it? Family. Wasn't welfare, it was. I forgot the name now, but now they call it human resources. But they don't want your resource no more, black man. So they sending in migrants, because migrants will work for a quarter. But all your tax money is going to pump up the migrants. And they know how to do work that average black men don't know how to do. Because most of all your black dudes, black brothers and sisters, the workforce, used to be the workforce, want to do, they want to sell drugs. And they selling drugs over there in Africa now. They got gangs in Africa. And they show you this now. When you turn on Tubi or whatever you call it, and you turn on black cinema, that's all they show is black trap houses, black plugs. But you know they ain't the one that's bringing it in. They are the middle management or the distributors. But they ain't the top dog. CIA is bringing it in. You know, but y'all ain't got enough sense to do that, because you focus too much on material things. Now they gonna own your they really own your house, because you got to pay property taxes. See, that tax is like a collective. It's like a interest. You know, it's like usury, man. Usury is another name for interest. And in the Bible say, God told him you don't use usury. A late fee is usury or interest. So long as you might buy a house, cash money, but you got to pay taxes. Still like you renting, you know. Still like you renting a house. You never really own it. And if they want to put a freeway through your street where your house is at, and they can move you out, they can offer you a little change for your house and buy you another house somewhere else. The thing that puzzles me is why y'all ain't caught on to this. You know, why you can't peep game. You know, because if you was to peep game, you wouldn't vote for Trump nor Biden. Because, for one thing, Trump raised up millions and millions of dollars in his war chest to be president. Now, you may, on your street, on your block, have somebody more qualified to be president than Biden or Trump. But guess what? He ain't got no Benjamins. You know, he don't have no $98 million to run for president. Running for president is a rich man's game. So if it's a rich man's game, only rich people gonna play. You just on the sidelines, thinking you doing something. But what you're doing, my brothers and sisters, you dividing yourself. You not the black Republicans is fighting black Democrats and black independents. You're dividing yourself in the churches. You got Baptists, you know, against Sanctified. You got Sanctified against Jehovah's Witnesses, and you know, you divided. And when the white politicians come by your church, black politicians, there ain't gonna be no more black. You might don't worry about that. Obama was the last one, and Kwame Kilpatrick was the last one here in Detroit, because you divided on that. Because the political game ain't nothing for us. It wasn't built for us. It was just to keep us thinking that, you know, keeping us close to the white man. Keep us thinking that, keep the masses thinking that one day we're going to gain ground. But they got you in the meetings with them, but they have another meeting after you go home. And they give you a few bucks, make you think you're living good. But those dollars belong to the Federal Reserve, the Rothschilds. So they invented income taxes. Now they take income tax straight out your check. And then when it comes income tax day, you gotta fill out a form. But if you don't fill out that form, they tell you that you owe taxes. Now they done took money out your check already. But the income tax is really for the federal employees. you know. But it's really no law for income taxes. The IRS is just a private army for the Rothschilds. It's all a strong arm move. So, you know, they put interest on that dollar that they print up. The Congress, they don't vote on, they don't have your input on that. When they want to send money over here and there, when they want to start a war over here and there, they do it. It's like a dictatorship. They don't directly say we're a dictator, but the only dictator is the supreme being, the Most High, the one that created and built the universe. And when he say, thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do that, that's a dictator. Just like your father. He's the dictator. I mean, nowadays, your father probably in the joint, probably doing a vacation or going to the school of hard knocks in the joint, or dead. But if we was to have families like we used to have, the father was the head of the house, and he laid down the law. It's either his way or the highway, or get your butt whooped. Well, the supreme father of us all, he still thinks like that. Either you're going to follow his commandments, or you're going to get your butt whipped, or just get the hell out of here, out of his house. You know, you're going to get the hell out of God's house one way or the other. But God said he's going to build a new house. In Revelations, he's going to build a new city. He said he's going to call it New Jerusalem. And the hoes, the pimps, the murderers, they're not going to be able to get in. And eventually he's going to destroy them all. Now the preachers see that in the Bible. You can get your Bible and look and you'll see it. You don't need no preacher to tell you what that Bible say. All you got to do is look up words. Remember, English ain't our original language. Now Arabic is our original language. That's right. Ancient Egyptian Arabic. Or Aramaic and Hebrew. Sophisticated languages. Now, either you gonna go by what that Bible say. You know what? Even they got even Jesus and Moses fighting. They got Jesus saying Moses said, thou shalt not an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say this is Jesus. They say this is Jesus talking. I say, if he hit you on one cheek, turn the other. Now, you ever thought of this? If he hit you on one cheek and you turn and let him hit you on the other cheek, he might not hit you the same way or the same hardness. He might hit you so hard on the other cheek. He said, "Oh, you gonna turn the other cheek and let me have it? I'll break your jaw. You gonna let him hit you on this cheek, and then you gonna turn the other one." Now, the first thing I'm gonna think, if I'm here to hit you with my left, and then you turn the other cheek, that's like saying, "Oh man, that wasn't nothing. That's the best you can do. You can hit me on this cheek. You hit like a woman." So I said, "Oh yeah." I mean, that's what it suggests. I'm gonna hit you with my left, and then you're gonna turn the other cheek. The next time I hit you, I'm gonna try my best to lay you out. I might hit you so hard I kill you. So you know they put that in there, because that's when you was a slave. That's when they introduced the Bible to you. You couldn't hardly read anyway, because you couldn't read English. You couldn't hardly talk English, and they tell you that's what it is, to keep you in that slave mentality. But Jesus, later on down in the book, Jesus say that he lines up with Moses, Elijah, and all of them. You know, we all are servants of God. You know, we are Muslims. You say he don't say that. Yeah, but the word Muslims. Have you ever looked that word up and see what that word means? And I did. It said those that do the will of God. The rest of your religions don't say that. Christianity don't say that. They say a follower of Jesus. But Jesus said he's a follower of the Father, our Father who art in heaven. Jesus said he the Father. He go by his dictations. He said, "Me and the Father are one." So when you in your Father's house, you know, you do what your Father tell you, or you're gonna get punished. You know. But what they trying to tell you, the white man trying to tell you is, he your God. And he could put anything to be your God. He could put crack cocaine to be your God. Those drugs don't have no effect on you. It's all a mental thing. It's all just like you get addicted to food. You can get addicted to sugar. You can get addicted to salt. You can get addicted to pop. You can drink so much pop it'll kill you. It's all a mental thing. So everything comes out the mind first before it materializes, you know. When Henry Ford was making the car, he envisioned before he put it on paper. And then when he made a blueprint on paper, he followed that blueprint, and eventually he came out with a car, just like money. So the real value is what you give things. The real value lies within you. The treasure is in you. You got powers in you. We all got powers in us. The word God actually means, the way I was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, means power and force. And then when you look at your makeup, your human makeup or your godly makeup, you got in you electricity, magnetic, electromagnetic power that runs through you, a current. This is your boy. Did I say boy? I feel young. I feel young today. I haven't been to the doctor in uh, since 1981, and I'm 77. Next month I'll be 78, and I haven't been to the doctor since then. I eat one time a day, and I just feel good. So I guess I feel like a boy, but I'm your man. I'm your elder, trying to give you the kind of flavor that will save you and the kind of knowledge you won't get in college. And my word is my bond. I will give my life before my word shall fail. I am an FOI soldier in the Nation of Islam. My duty is to unite my people, black people, and protect the women and children of my nation. I will perform my duty faithfully, regardless to whom or what. My life and my death are all for Allah. I will be loyal and obedient to the Supreme Being, Allah, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, who I give authority over me. To him and him alone do I submit. He is the Lord of all the worlds and the master on this day of judgment. So we're getting ready to close down, and just remember, all things emanate from you, especially those with melanin. That melanin is nothing to be ashamed of. Be proud of that. Because this summer, that heat wave and that serious sun, if you ain't got melanin, it don't matter how light skinned you are. If your father was a black man, you got melanin in you. And you won't get sunburned. But the Caucasian, see, you got a lot of brothers that's trying to pass for white. And some brothers is black and they don't know they black. You know. But they dropping dead. The heat wave is killing them. Y'all taking off y'all clothes. Don't take your clothes off. And you got to watch the way you eat. You know, if you eat electric food, you know, if your food is alive when you eat it, the sun won't roast you so much. You know. So watch how you eat. Eat one time a day. Hydrate yourself. Drink water. You know. Take that black seed. You could drink coffee. It's black, ain't it? Don't drink too much. Remember, Jesus said, do everything in moderation. You know. As far as joining any organizations, temples, when you give them the money, what they gonna do with that money? They gonna build up like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? If they gonna buy land so you could eat good? Because they poisoning the food now. They modifying the food. It's not really food no more. Are they gonna? What they gonna do with the money that you give them? I'm keeping my money in my pocket. Charity begins at home with my children, and even though they might not agree with the way I think, you know, they need my help. I'm gonna try to have it for them to get it. So we got to start uniting with ourselves first, our family. You know, the one black woman got to try to understand her role as a woman. But the brothers nowadays, y'all weak, man, to me. I ain't, you know, y'all know who you are. I ain't saying all y'all. Some of y'all stronger than me. But I ain't patting myself on the back because this is the way I'm 77. This is the way I probably really supposed to be. Like, you know, uh, slim and trim and full of vim, you know, and occasionally, you know, my memory, I got to work on that a little bit. But I know things be running through my mind that I want to say. And I'm trying to get everything out right now. And I don't really watch what I say sometimes because I'm thinking ahead of myself. And I don't know when they're going to shut me down. They shut me down for 90 days. And, you know, now I'm trying to flood the markets, trying to get you prepared, trying to unite my people, because that's the only way we're going to make it. If we want to survive this war, Armageddon. Because doomsday, we only got seconds away. before doomsday for the white man. And pretty soon, the whole planet's going to be at war. Ain't a place you can go. And I'm trying to make Detroit sacred ground. Call it Farad Metro. You know your brothers in the church ain't going to dig that. Y'all might could dig it. Some of y'all might can dig it. But we got to let the world know that Allah and the person of Master Farad Muhammad and his greatest and last messenger called Detroit, Michigan, Temple number 1. So it started all here. And we want to keep that and spread that word and try to get every artifacts that we can to show the planet that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was right. Even though you got brothers stealing from him, Bobby Hemmett in his early talks, lectures, he used to quote Elijah Muhammad. Then, he said, Elijah Muhammad said this and then the other, But what y'all did was y'all replaced the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with Farrakhan. Now, you can get Farrakhan on YouTube, his lectures, and you can still get the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's lectures. And trace the history back through these lectures, and record them and put them away in your file. Then study them. And you can see that Farrakhan tried to replace the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he did. The majority of the people nowadays think that Farrakhan is the voice of the Nation of Islam. But you still got video recordings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you got recordings of his brother, Supreme Minister John Muhammad. See, I don't mention nobody else, even though they might have seen the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But Supreme Minister John Muhammad and his wife were also there with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when it first started. Not when it first started, but in the beginnings. And he walked and talked with Master Farad Muhammad and with his brother at the same time. So that makes him, and he died I think in 2005, but that makes him 2005. It ain't so long ago, but it was a long time ago. Any of you that was born in 2005, which I would be now, about 20 or something, 20 or 30, no, about 20. Yeah, something like that. So you wouldn't know even what I know. And I was born in 1946. You see? And so you're easily brainwashed into thinking that Farrakhan is what? But study the history of Farrakhan. But Allah permits Farrakhan to do what he do. And I think I got a handle on why Farrakhan, he did keep it alive, the Nation of Islam alive. He kept the name alive. And for a minute, he kept the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's name alive. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son changed the name of the Nation of Islam. Changed the whole teachings around. And a lot of y'all don't know that. See, y'all got to study up on that. There's a whole lot of research you got to do. So the more you know about your enemy and the more you know about yourself will keep you out of harm's way. So I'm suggesting to you, the temple is in you. I mean, we got a nation on theory, but we don't function like a nation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was getting us to function like a nation. He had banks. He was getting ready to get a hospital. We had an army, the FOI, a spiritual army. He had land, he had farms, so he could feed a people independently from your white slave master. Then his son, Wallace D. came, took that away, and Mr. Farrakhan joined him, but later on came back. And that was a good thing that he did when he came back and talked like he should, but now he went off into another direction when he joined Scientology, and wanted to vote and all like that, see. Because Islamic politics is different. They don't use usury or have interest. When you have an Islamic bank and you go and get a loan, they don't charge interest. Now the ones that come over here and live over here call themselves Muslim Americans and Arab Americans. They came over here because they can't walk the straight path. They want to walk like the white man walk. So that's why they over here marching and protesting about Gaza, because they move over here and sell pork, sell alcohol, charge interest. A lot of them got car lots, and they got a finance company in their car lot, and they charge interest, and they talk Arabic, and they think that's cool, but no. And those Arab Muslims, they don't try to help the Muslims, they know that before we came over here, we were Muslims. A lot of us was Muslims. Most of us was Muslim. So they didn't try to help us. So they getting punished. But you black brothers and sisters that's over here and was once slave and took the side of the white man, if you don't hurry up and turn around, make a U-turn, you're going to get punished too. So I'm Black Light. I'm getting ready to go. Assalamu alaikum. Have a peaceful night's rest and an early morning rise. Assalamu alaikum.